It's another startup, and this time it's not jewelry, it's toys. And it's going to be really interesting because they will tell you their story about how they started, how they failed, what they learned, how they started again, and how they will be successful in future. And maybe what's different, they are not using shapeways or any high-tech manufacturer of 3D printed goods, but they use low-cost FDM to generate very valuable products. And I think it's going to be an interesting story, and I hope I'm going to learn something as well. Thank you. This is John and Odran.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wir sind sehr glücklich, sehr froh, hier zu sein. Jetzt kann ich auf Englisch sprechen. Just a few words about us. The last speech of the day. We are extremely happy to talk a little bit about us. We are a French startup with 3 people, 1 chief production officer, with Odran, myself, who is the business guy, and the other is a developer who will remain in Paris for that day. And you can see the object. This is the Eiffel Tower, which is here, the first product we have ever sold. And you have an indication of where we are in France with the background. We are incubated in ECE Paris, which is the Paris Electronic School. And what I can tell about us is that we are a startup born in a fab lab. So that means that we believe that our activity, our action can lead to the creation of new jobs, especially of technical job to produce things close to the cities. For some people, this is an illusion. For us, this is something that can be possible, and we are working through our activity to do that. And the last thing is the accessibility of creativity. We don't say that people will be more creative, but we think that 3D printing will offer them the ability, the accessible power to make it. We built this presentation on 3 main aspects. The first one is a startup, which is a transitory organization to find a business model. So how we failed, because in a fab lab you learn to fail your project, to learn and to progress. And this is one of the most important parts for us to talk about. The second one is the quest for low-cost 3D printing. Odran will talk a little bit about that. Why are we so focused on low-cost 3D printing? And the last one is that what we discovered, what we assume 3D printing will impact on the daily life of objects in the future from what we have done. It's a very it's our angle of vision. So you will tell us if you agree or not with us. Just a question in the audience: who has a 3D printer? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, nice. Important to know. So it stems. I was beginning with alone on the project with a 3D printable strategy tabletop game, but to enlarge the market in July 2013, I decided that I needed to create a web platform to sell toys and games. And one key object, because I have limited budget, limited resources, limited time, limited competencies, was one puzzle. If you are in Paris and you think about a famous monument in Paris, it can be an Eiffel Tower. So the idea was to compete with Ravensburger, with that Eiffel Tower, because the 3D printing adds value, because you will get a complicated object, and if you will touch it, you will see that the complexity of the object is not doable with injection molding. So say, okay, I can compete with Ravensburger. And the other aspect is also that a puzzle is you get lots of pieces and you can produce them more easily with your 3D printer. So there's the 2 reasons. So no website, no product at that time, a free open software, and a RepRap, which was repaired at that time by Odran, but needed some improvement. But a few months after, we still succeeded in making that. I got the website, I made the website, okay. I was helped by a designer who helped me to make and to design the Eiffel Tower, which is there. And together we made lots of prints to make it become an object with the fitting, the insertion mechanism and something. And at that time, I understood that with my RepRap, sorry, I was not able to make something reliable, and I needed another prosumer 3D printer to keep going. And then, after a few weeks, I got the first sale. So I was extremely happy. I say, yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire or somewhat. People like to buy my products, and I was happy. But then I understood all of the problems that was related to that. And in fact, it was a kind of trap. The trap to believe that because you sell things on a web platform, that you are selling MP3s. STL file or files, okay, but in fact, you are selling a real physical object. And then the buyers of that product, who was hobbyists, they realized that the puzzle was not extremely good because they wanted, they have different machines, and the machines has different characteristics, like the nozzle head, is that a zero dot, some elements of the machines. Different means different results. You use a different filament, you get different results. You want to rescale the model, you will have different results. And you also use the slicing method, you prepare the file, you will get different results. So at the end of the day, that product was not a nightmare, but something that was not reliable. So these things made me think that, in fact, you can sell a STL file, but it can be for clothes, for heels, it can be for games. It will be a STL file, but you will have completely different uses, and that not to understand that would be a big mistake. And that leads to another problem. You are selling the things to hobbyists. Hobbyists, they are expecting that you give them freedom. They don't expect you that you give them a realized product, a product that is extremely reliable. They want to touch it, they want to take the STL, rescale it, modify it, add things. And that, I realized that, in fact, the market was, sorry, the potential number, it's for the slide from Economist, was there, and there, with a specialist website on toys and games, you get there. So it's extremely difficult to live with that. And then, okay, the number of 3D printers has been multiplied by 3 since then, but you are still extremely, I was trapped. So what I learned from that first experience is also when I was doing this file, what I call the digitalization, or what other people could call the digitalization of objects. Your objects, I was in the morning making the print, and in the afternoon, it was on internet. I was selling that on internet. And I realized it was like program. Now object becomes program. Alpha version, beta version, version 1, version 2, version 3, you have updates of the physical objects. And in fact, what is tangible, like this, becomes fluid like water. That's a very important thing, but when people ask me why you think that 3D printing will be democratized, if it will be democratized or not, I would say if people got used to have this object digitalized, to use it with a version 1, version 2, with version 3, and they modify themselves some aspects, how would you be able to tell them, no, it was just for prototyping. Now take the same object for 1 million people and forget the rest. That, for me, our key, for us, this experience showed us that people will get used to version 1, version 2, version 3, and they will expect things you can change, especially in the games sector. And so project will become always prototyping products. That's one of the things we assume. It's just an assumption. And so let's go back to our problems, okay? I'm alone. I consider that STL files are just MP3s, and then I'm on a tiny market.
At that time, we are around December 2013, and I joined John at the ECU, where we set our office, and we start working on this issue. The first one, why STL are different from MP3. When you, in the earlier 2000, you buy your first iPod, you discover that you can bring music, which is digital content, to your ear, sound. You bring it to the physical world through the product of the company Apple. We think in a certain way that we have to do the same with STL. If you want to have a good object in your hand, you have to have a way to go from the STL to the final object. And for that, we need to give the people who don't have the experience to provide it by themselves a process that will allow to have a good object in the end. That's creating kind of ecosystem between the STL and the production process. The end object, still the user propriety. That's the first point. About reaching a maximum of consumer, we were trying to sell for some specialists. It doesn't work. Where do you have to buy toys when Christmas comes? You go to toy shop. So that's what we did. We go to toy shop. And we take contact with some reseller and ask, what do you want to sell? Is it a good product for you? You will show later what it gives. But before, I want to come back on what VOSCAIN is trying to do, which is making a low-cost 3D printing. So we will give you some kind of arbitrary definition of what we consider. It's kind of a dream for now, but of course, our aim is to make this a reality. What's the aim of VOSCAIN? Creating final products with a low or medium added value, and all that with a productive 3D printer, which costs less than 6,000 euros. With that, to make some benefit, we need, of course, to have a low-cost materials. So we aim to stay under 80 euros per liter or kilogram of materials. And if we can, we want our customers to be happy with those products. For generating the process, we also need some open source software. So if all these elements are met, we think we can provide the object we described earlier. But before that, we had to make what was almost not possible. I'm talking, of course, of what you saw in the previous slide. We face some issue. The first one is when you want to produce objects and sell them, you have to have a certain productivity. If you have a limited amount of machine to produce this part, you have to enhance its production. But you are on the market where 3D printers are evolving really quickly. Each week you have new models with new capability, new improvement, and if you want to earn the money you spend on buying this machine, you have to make it run for a lot of parts or in an efficient way. That's the first issue. The second one is about materials. If we want to make benefit, we have to use, as I said before, the cheapest material possible, but not in a way that the final user will be not happy with the product. So we have to find the right balance between low-cost materials and good final product. That's quite hard. The other one, repeatability, and ensuring that the product we produce one day, on day one, will be the same on day 20. With 3D printer, we can say we produce series of one product because it's not like injection or molding where you have the same mold and you make series of the same product, same characteristic. Here it's not the case. We are using different machine because, for example, we use one machine to produce one part, and our job is to make sure that the second machine will produce the same part. It's quite hard to do. Another one, if you own a 3D printer, you might know, especially if this printer is built by yourself, that it might have a lot of failures. Mechanical one, software issue, or just you know, the machine breaks during the print. That's harmful. So we have to face this issue to be sure that the production requirement will be met. And all that, we need to make it fast because the market and the world of the 3D printer are evolving quickly. Speed is king here. That's it. So everything's with this problem solved because we thought of these problems. We were ready to try some solution, and then we decided to make a first product. That's what we made. Here you have the first unit of production we created. It's a prototype, so it's blank, but it's aimed to have a good shape, a good color in the end, because the aim of this product unit is to go on the toy shop where customers can print their product and left the store with them. Behind the blue square, you have the printer we don't show because we are not happy with it. But it's a 3D printer behind. It's not blue. But
this is the one we are going to change.
But it doesn't matter here. On the middle pictures, you have the first prototype of a customization interface. It's really simple. You have a knight. You choose the helmet. You choose the weapon. You choose other accessories, and then you print it. You just have to click, print. Okay, print start. You get your knight in a certain time. I will come back on this point later. That was great. So we felt ready. You have the end result below. We felt ready, and we go to see retail directors saying, here is our product. Do you want to sell it in our shop? Okay. And now he shows us something really quick, really harsh. He take our product and say, oh, this is great. Can I touch it? Yeah, sure. And he break our product. That was quite harsh, but that's the reality. Our product were not meeting some requirements for children. Thus, he showed up 4 showstoppers. First, we are in Europe. We have harsh rules regarding toys and games, so we have to deal with CE norms. We went to make some documentation, asking the right people for information about that, making some tests, inflammability, mechanical test, chemical migration of heavy metals. All these were tested. Okay, we felt ready for this one. Next one was time of printing. If you have a 3D printer and you want precision, if you use FDM like we did, you know it takes time. And when you are 6 years old, there is only one thing you don't like is waiting. So we had to go fast. The knight I showed you earlier take 23 minutes to print. That's acceptable, but quite long. We have to deal with entertaining the kid during the printing process. Why not? Why not? The maximum is 40 minutes. We get some trick to lower to 3 minutes. Oh, just printing base toys and then small customized parts, which come along with the standard parts after. But that's a trick. That's not very good. But for beginning, it's okay. The next one went wrong. What's it? That's light bulb. It's the added value you give to a product that is you can customize compared to one is fixed. When you go to a toy shop, you buy a box. Inside there is a toys. Toys is the same for everyone. If we use 3D printing, we hope to make some product customizable. Here, it's not enough. The option you saw in the earlier prototype were not enough for the request of this retail director. The last one is the quality of the print. If you take our print and compare it to the existing one, which are molded and painted,
no match.
Doesn't look good. You have the layer height, you see them, not beautiful. Monocolor, not good. Those two one bring a dead end for us, because if you can't solve these two issues, you have to lower your price. And if you lower your price, you earn less money and you make no benefit. So this is where we will close the chapter for now. we have worked since, we have some idea, but maybe you have question about where we were. The presentation is not over, but I will give John the micro back so he can continue and think about it.
As you can believe, if we are here, if we're still optimistic about our chances. But, well, yeah, it was not easy. And even if you have some tweaks, if you can reduce the speed time, the print time, if you can find lots of solutions, the key thing is that the end product you show and the child has in the hands with another ones, you have no multicolor, you have not the same finish, of course. It was too difficult for this market. So, well, let's talk a little bit about what we learned from the interviews and the meetings we had with these people. Just a joke, what is stronger, what could be stronger than the Google as a search engine? If you have an idea, if somebody has an idea. The answer is a librarian using Google CEO and other professional databases. Okay, if you get the logic, you might find the other one. What is, in the 3D printing domain, what is stronger than Amazon? The answer, a toy shop owner with an unlimited data warehouse. If now you can print only 0.00.5% of whole toys and games industry possible, in some niche, in some aspect, you can print up to 15% or 20%. And then in that situation, he has the data warehouse. And it changed a lot of things because this toy shop owner is able also, if it is not a toy store but a toy shop, to select, to choose the games he will pick up in his catalog, and then explain you why he recommended it to you, and why he has chosen that. And it changes a lot of things, the importance of physical places. And the other aspect, and we were talking with them, and they said, okay, if just imagine that we have 20% of that products that are virtual, okay? That means that the key of our profession, of our job, was to choose to make the purchase, to manage the inventory. So what you're telling them is that in a certain way, we will not have this spatial knowledge will shift toward other things. And the two things could be, it's an assumption, how you manage your production and your 3D printer to be better than the customer that has a 3D printer. How could it be better, the finishing, the options, everything. The second thing, what kind of expertise do you have toward a customer who is on internet? That's the second question. And well, now that leads us to the key learnings, and then we will have the key question. If there is two main things to keep up, to keep in memory for us, it's the kind of digitalization of objects, and the fact that objects will be ever moving, ever changing now. And the second, the 3D printable ones. And the second aspect will be what low-cost 3D printing means as a means of production to produce low added value products in terms of price. 9 euros, 7 euros, 3 euros products. That's the most important things. Thank you for your attention, and if you have any question, feel free to ask.
So, are you in the market right now, or you have stopped?
Just maybe to.
Have you stopped working on this project, or how is it? What is the present situation?
The present situation is we find a way to be extremely more relevant than before. In fact, just imagine that when we were talking about toys and games, you have seen a figurine. That means that we were aiming a small sub-market of that, say, okay, we are interested in figurines. Just imagine if we were targeting figurines with a better definition, better quality and resolution, for a better price. I give you a clue.
Just a small information. In my university, there is a group of guys who are working on the exactly similar model. And the name of that company is Tinker Toys. They were also on television some days back because we are in the same university. Okay, yeah. So we are in the same university, and these guys are also on this. They're making exactly the same thing. They're printing things and making toys. But as you said already, that when you give toys to children, I mean, they break it. They are ruthless when it comes to toys. So basically,
to be frank with you, they don't care about 3D printing. In fact, there is a kind of hype with 3D printing. A toy just want to have fun with a product. And even we met the general representative of the French toys chain industry and asked him, what do you think about the products? And he said, the Eiffel Tower, this is a nice product for grown-up people who would like to play with things. And Lego has a own product line on it. But for a child, no, it will not be the case. 8 years, 9 years, depends. Because when we created the things, we don't build it with the customer. Big problem for lots of people. And we, on the second part of the project, we build the product with the customer. That's the main difference, I think. So we won't make the mistake second time. So no question? Okay. So thank you very much for your attention. And I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.